So if we don't think the child is at risk of significant harm, but there might be some issues that the parents might need some help with, or the child might need some support with, we will talk to you in a letter about what those can be. We'll talk to you over the phone as well, but we'll follow it up in writing. And then the onus is on you as parents, because you're the ones with parental responsibility for your children, to take that forward. Yeah?
I was just going to ask, because I've seen situations where children suffer injuries through an accident or something like that, and they take the children, or there's parents are scared of taking the children to the hospital, to the GP, because when the bruise is seen, the first thing the doctors think is not, it was an accident. They start to think it was domestic abuse. And you don't want that, because the child might be suffering something that's bad, you know. And how can you, what's in place to help parents in this situation?
I would be worried if your child was injured and you didn't take the child to hospital. That would worry us more from Children's Services. You know, my child was about 3. He fell and he hit himself on the bedside cabinet, and he's got a permanent scar here, yeah? I was horrified, but I took him to hospital. And when I took him to hospital, I knew they might ask me some questions. And they didn't ask me any questions, because I was a mother looking after the child's health needs. If you don't take the child and you conceal the injuries, we would be more concerned about that. Because why would you conceal the child's health needs? Why wouldn't you try to address that? That is what would worry Children's Services more.
The reason I ask that is, especially from an African environment, if you take your child, that kind of child, to the hospital, they would. I've seen situations where they start to speak to the social workers straight away, because they've seen, because they have this assumption as well. If you're from an African environment, knowing the kind of culture we might have, and be like, start to think it was probably as a result of the father punishing the child and things like that.
So you think I'm different to you?
No, it's not that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, if you go to a place and you speak a certain way, there's a certain perception from people, and they start to think it's because of this, it's because of that. Because there's a certain way you can present yourself, or your culture, that makes people presume things.
Yeah, but I think as well, you know, and I think you're right, there are language barriers and there's lots of communication issues. But I think if you can speak clearly to the doctors, they will deal with it. But remember, depending on the injuries, they might have a duty to report it anyway. A lot of professionals, that's what the Criminal Justice Act 2004 did. It joined up government agencies. They have a duty to report things. So if you appear in court, doesn't matter what you've appeared in court for, yeah? If you've got children in that household, probation officers and court officers have a duty to refer it to Children's Services. Now, if we dealt with everything that came through Children's Services, well, the government wouldn't be able to keep that department running.
Okay, can I follow on that one, you know, the last one? If, you know, your child have injury, you go to hospital, explain to them. Yeah. They will not report to social services. Yeah. If you explain that, if you don't take that child to hospital, it's neglective act, and then they will follow it up. Yeah. Thank you very much. I know you just like the presentation is so long. I hope you enjoyed today. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Cecilia and I will stay around a little bit outside if anybody wants to talk to us individually. Yeah, we'll hang around. People, you know.